Well, regarding the language, we say the language of an academic essay must be accurate, and this accuracy is measured in terms of these four elements: grammar, choice of words, sentence structures, and constructions. You know, by grammar, we mean that the grammar must be used accurately. There must be, let's say, many different forms of grammar because the range of grammar is an asset in, let's say, writing. That means you must be able to use many different grammatical structures, and you must be able also to use it accurately. We have choice of words. Again, we have vocabulary range, or let's say lexical complexity. You must be able to use many different words that are, let's say, used appropriately in their correct context. Something that causes problems in the choice of words is when the students memorize words in lists, or when the students, for example, memorize words, let's say, out of context, especially when they translate them into their native language. That causes a lot of problems. First, apart from the denotation of the word, which is the dictionary meaning of the word, we have many other information about words, like, for example, whether the word is formal or informal, whether the word is approving or disapproving, is it old-fashioned, is it a slang, is it polite to use it or not. We have a lot of information that you can find only in a, let's say, Oxford, for example, dictionary, or, for example, in a Longman dictionary. You cannot find this information in a bilingual dictionary. So you need to know, first of all, the correct meaning of the word, because the bilingual dictionaries do not always give you the exact meaning. And also you need to, let's say, memorize the words in a context, not outside the context in a list. Well, we also have sentence structures. Generally, you need to identify different structures of sentences. We have simple, compound, complex, and complex compound sentences. So there are 4 types of sentences in English that you need to identify. And we say generally it's better to try to use complex and complex compound sentences more than simple and compound sentences. So you need to understand the structure of the sentences. We also have the construction. Construction is a bit different from the structure. By construction, we mean how you express the ideas using the words and the grammar in the sentence. One, for example, thing regarding construction is, again, the same thing we discussed regarding verbosity. That means, for example, sometimes you bring a lot of words when you don't have to. Let me give you an example for poor construction. We say, let's say the shirt, which is red, is expensive. The construction of this sentence is a complex, considering its structure, but considering the construction, it's a poor sentence. Why? Because we have used, for example, a relative clause only to express the color of the shirt. Instead of saying the shirt which is red is expensive, we can simply say the red shirt is expensive. So this is one example for construction of the sentences. Then we have measuring the organization. Generally speaking, when we talk about the organization, it's about the structure of your essay, like, for example, writing good body paragraphs, writing a good introduction, writing, for example, a good conclusion at the end, and how you, for example, organize the body paragraphs, the things that you discuss in the body paragraphs. This is important. And here we have, let's say, organization types. We have, for example, time sequence. The purpose is to show sequence of events or chronology. We have this kind of organization in narrative essays in which we, let's say, talk about a story, in which we talk about, for example, many different events that happen to us. We have comparison. The purpose is to show similarities. On the other hand, we have contrast, whose purpose is to show differences. So we sometimes have comparison and contrast together, talking about both similarities and differences. We need to know how we organize, for example, the body paragraphs when we're talking about comparison or contrast, or both of them together. We also have cause and effect. The purpose is to show reason and the result. We have problem solution and descriptive. The purpose for problem solution is to clarify a problem and provide a solution, and the descriptive is to provide detailed observation? Well, we have, let's say, different by organizations we mean deciding about the number of the body paragraphs and what exactly you are going to put in each body paragraph. Let me give you, let's say, an example. Sometimes you're writing a problem solution essay, okay? Then you need to arrange your body paragraphs. For example, you may decide to talk about the problem or the problems in some body paragraphs, like problem 1 in body paragraph 1, problem 2 in body paragraph 2, and then later for each solution you can write one body paragraph. This is, for example, one kind of organization. Another thing that you can go for is to talk about the problem and its solution in the same, let's say, body paragraph. And there is no best way about organizing, let's say, your ideas into different body paragraphs. It depends on, let's say, the ideas that you have. Sometimes you have solutions. Sometimes you have only one solution. Sometimes for each problem there is one solution. Sometimes there is one solution for all the problems. So that depends on the ideas. And finally, we have this checklist that we can use to decide whether a text is strong or weak. There are questions here. For example, is the text suitable for the intended audience? Well, of course, it has to be. So if you tick this, that means considering the audience and the purpose, the text is strong. And we have many other questions you can go through. Based on the things that we have discussed, you can either put a tick or an X and then finally decide whether a text is strong or not. So the reason why you need to know these things very generally is that you are going to write an essay. So you need to consider all these elements and things about your own essay later to realize whether your essay is weak or strong. If your text is weak, based on the things we have discussed, and based on, for example, this checklist that we have, of course, we have another table. Let's say we have other criteria and questions, part of the checklist. If you feel like, based on the things we have discussed and based on the checklist that we have right now, your article is weak, then you may need to, let's say, make amendments or improvements accordingly. Well, that's all about this session. Thank you very much.